Girl runs out, crying to garbage man. Minutes later, police shut down the street. It was a chilly morning in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind of day where everything seemed ordinary. The sun was just peeking through the clouds, and the soft hum of morning routines filled the air. Birds chirped in the distance. Dogs barked as they chased after squirrels, and the familiar sound of the garbage truck rolling down the street echoed through the neighborhood. For most, it was just another Wednesday morning. But for one girl, this day would be anything but normal. As the garbage truck slowly made its way down the block, picking up bins one by one, a figure came running out of a house. A young girl, no older than 12, sprinted down her driveway, tears streaming down her face. Her glasses were slightly crooked, her hair a little messy from what looked like a sleepless night. Her small hands gripped something tightly, a crumpled piece of paper, and her sobs grew louder with each step. The garbage man, a kind middle-aged man who had worked this route for years, saw her coming. He slowed the truck, concerned. "Wait!" the girl screamed, her voice shaky. "Please stop! Don't throw it away!" The garbage man stepped down from the truck, his face full of confusion and concern. He wasn't sure what was happening, but he knew something was very wrong. The girl reached him, nearly collapsing from exhaustion, and thrust the crumpled paper into his hands. He looked down at it, but before he could ask any questions, she was already pointing to a black trash bag inside her garbage bin. "It's in there! It's too late, isn't it?" she sobbed. The garbage man looked from the paper to the trash bag, unsure of what to do. His heart ached, seeing the girl's distress. What could possibly be so important in that bag? He had seen all kinds of strange things on his route, but this was different. There was something about the way she cried, something about the desperation in her voice. Whatever it was, it mattered to her deeply. Without hesitation, he nodded and began sifting through the bin. It was just a bag, filled with the usual household waste. But then, something caught his eye. Something small, hidden beneath layers of discarded wrappers and scraps. He reached in, pulling it out slowly. The girl's eyes widened in terror as he revealed a small, carefully wrapped package. The moment she saw it, she gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. "I didn't mean to throw it away," she whispered, her voice trembling. I didn't know what it was." Before the garbage man could respond, the sound of tires screeching caught their attention. They both turned toward the street where a black car had suddenly pulled up. The doors flew open, and two men in dark suits stepped out, their faces unreadable, but their movements swift and purposeful. They were heading straight for the girl. "Stay back," one of the men shouted as they approached. The garbage man instinctively stepped in front of the girl, shielding her from whatever was coming, but it was too late. In the blink of an eye, the men reached them, one pulling the package from the garbage man's hands, while the other spoke into a radio, calling for backup. "Code 17, we need immediate assistance. Lock down the street," the man said, calmly, as if this kind of thing happened every day. Before anyone could react, police cars began to flood the area. Sirens blared, lights flashed, and officers jumped out, securing the neighborhood. The peaceful, quiet morning was now a scene of chaos, with neighbors peeking out from behind curtains, unsure of what was happening. The street was completely shut down. The girl, now more confused than ever, clung to the garbage man's arm, tears still streaming down her face. She tried to speak, to explain, but nothing came out. What had she done? What was in the package? And why were these men so desperate to get their hands on it? As the police set up barricades and the men in suits huddled together, talking in hushed tones, The girl's mind raced. She had only wanted to stop the garbage truck, to retrieve something that, until a few minutes ago, she hadn't even known was important. But now, standing in the middle of a street, swarmed with police and agents, she realized that whatever was in that package was much more than she had bargained for. The garbage man, still standing protectively beside her, whispered softly, "It's going to be okay, kid. We'll figure this out." But the girl wasn't so sure. Nothing felt okay, and as she looked up at the police officers, the flashing lights reflecting in her tear-filled eyes, one question burned in her mind. What had she just uncovered? As the police cordoned off the street, the girl stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. She watched as the men in suits spoke urgently into their radios, waving off curious neighbors who had started to gather on their porches. The calm, quiet life she had known seemed to crumble in front of her, replaced by confusion, fear, and questions she couldn't even begin to answer. The garbage man, sensing her growing panic, knelt down beside her, trying to offer comfort. "Hey, it's okay," he said softly, his voice steady. But even he didn't fully believe the words. He looked at the small package, now carefully sealed in a police evidence bag, and wondered what in the world could be inside. How had this normal morning turned into such a nightmare? The girl, still trembling, took a shaky breath. Her name was Lily, and for as long as she could remember, she had lived in this neighborhood, in that house, with her mum and little brother. They weren't a family with much. Her mum worked double shifts to keep them afloat, and Lily spent most of her time taking care of her brother, making sure the house ran smoothly. Life wasn't easy, but it was theirs, and that was enough. But lately, things had felt different. Her mum had been acting strange, distracted, secretive. There had been late-night phone calls, quiet arguments behind closed doors, and packages delivered in the middle of the night. Lily didn't know what was going on, but she could sense that something wasn't right. She hadn't meant to throw the package away. That morning, she had been rushing to take out the trash before the truck arrived. Her brother had left the bag by the back door, and in her hurry, she hadn't looked inside. She didn't know that hidden among the banana peels and crumpled napkins was something that would turn her world upside down. But now, standing in the middle of a police investigation, she wished she had been more careful. She wished she had asked more questions, paid more attention. Maybe then she wouldn't feel so lost, so scared. Meanwhile, the police were hard at work, their radios crackling with updates. Officers moved from house to house, questioning the neighbors, asking if anyone had seen anything suspicious. But it was clear from the puzzled looks on their faces that no one had a clue what was going on. This was the kind of neighborhood where people kept to themselves, where the most exciting thing that happened was the occasional dog escaping its yard. But now everything was different. The two men in suits, who had introduced themselves as federal agents, were talking to a tall, stern-looking officer. They kept their voices low, but Lily could catch bits and pieces of their conversation. Package was flagged. Didn't expect it to surface here. Could be dangerous. Needs to be contained. The words made her stomach churn. Dangerous. What had she thrown away? Why was it so important? The tension in the air grew thicker by the minute. The agents were clearly on edge. The police were scrambling to control the situation, and Lily felt more lost than ever. She wanted to ask questions, to demand answers, but her voice seemed stuck in her throat. She was just a kid. What could she possibly do? As the minutes ticked by, the crowd of onlookers grew, their murmurs filling the air. Everyone wanted to know what was happening. Why were there so many police? Why had the street been shut down? What was in that package? Suddenly, Lily's heart dropped as she spotted someone in the crowd, her mom, rushing down the street, her face pale and panicked. She pushed through the crowd, heading straight for Lily, her eyes wide with fear. "Lily, what happened? Are you okay?" her mom asked, her voice shaky. I don't know," Lily stammered. "I didn't mean to throw it away. I didn't know it was important." Her mom's face turned even paler, her eyes darting to the package the agents were holding. For a brief moment, Lily saw something she had never seen in her mother before. Pure, unfiltered fear. "Lily," her mom whispered, grabbing her hand. "We need to go, now." Before Lily could react, her mom was pulling her away, dragging her toward the house. But the agents were faster. They stepped in front of them, blocking their path. "Ma'am, we need to ask you some questions," one of the agents said firmly. "This is a federal matter. You can't leave." Her mom tightened her grip on Lily's hand, her knuckles white. "Please," she pleaded. "You don't understand. We need to leave. It's not safe." The agent's expression hardened. "We can't let you do that, ma'am. This package is part of an ongoing investigation, and we need to know what you know." Lily's mind was spinning. What investigation? What was her mom hiding? Why was she so afraid? Just then, the garbage man, who had been watching the whole scene unfold, stepped forward. "Listen," he said, his voice calm but firm. "The girl's scared. Whatever this is, it's not her fault. She didn't know what was in the trash. Let's give her a minute." The agents glanced at each other, and for a moment, Lily thought they might back down. But then, one of them nodded toward the package, and everything changed. Without warning, the street was swarmed by more agents, this time in tactical gear. They moved swiftly, surrounding Lily and her mom, weapons at the ready. The neighborhood, once peaceful and quiet, was now a scene of pure chaos. Lily's heart raced as the tension reached a boiling point. She didn't know what was in the package, or why her mom was so desperate to run. But she knew one thing. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. And as the agents closed in, she realized that the answers she sought might be more terrifying than she could have ever imagined. Lily's heart pounded as the agents in tactical gear closed in. The street, once peaceful, was now crawling with law enforcement. She could feel her mom's grip on her hand tighten, the fear radiating from her. Everything was spinning out of control, and Lily had no idea what to do. She wasn't sure what was in that package, or why it had caused such a massive reaction. All she knew was that her mom was scared, more scared than Lily had ever seen her. The lead agent, still holding the small package, stepped forward, his voice calm but commanding. "Ma'am, we need you to tell us what's going on. We know this package is important, but we don't know why. If you cooperate, we can resolve this peacefully." Lily looked up at her mom, her stomach twisted in knots. Her mom was pale, her eyes darting between the agents and the package, weighing her options. After what felt like forever, she let out a shaky breath and nodded. "Okay," her mom whispered, her voice breaking. "I'll explain everything." The tension in the air eased slightly as the agents stepped back, giving her mom space to speak. She looked down at Lily, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and sadness. "Lily," she began softly, "there's something I haven't told you. I didn't want you to get involved, but now it's too late." Her voice wavered, and she swallowed hard before continuing. "A few months ago, I got mixed up with the wrong people. I thought it was just a small job, something to help us get by. But it wasn't." Lily's mind raced. What was her mom talking about? What job? She had never imagined her mom was hiding something like this. "That package," her mom said, pointing to the evidence bag. "It's part of a bigger deal, something dangerous. I didn't know how serious it was until it was too late." I tried to get out, but they wouldn't let me. I thought I could hide it, throw it away, and make everything disappear. But I didn't know they were watching. Lily's stomach dropped. Her mum had been in trouble all along, and she had never noticed. She had been so focused on helping at home, taking care of her brother, that she hadn't seen the signs. Now, because of that package, their whole world was crashing down around them. The lead agent looked at Lily's mom, his expression softening just a little. "We understand you were scared," he said. "But now we need to secure the package and make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands." Lily's mom nodded, her shoulders slumping in defeat. "I know," she whispered. "I just wanted to protect my kids." For a moment, everything seemed to hang in the air. Lily's mom standing there, broken and terrified, the agents ready to act, and the entire neighborhood watching from behind their windows. Then, just as quickly as it had all begun, it was over. The agents moved in, taking the package and securing it safely. They escorted Lily's mom to one of the police cars, not with force, but with quiet understanding. Lily watched, tears welling up in her eyes, as her mom gave her a small, sad smile. Before being led away, the garbage man, who had stayed nearby the whole time, knelt down beside Lily, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "She'll be okay, kid," he said softly. "It's tough now, but she did the right thing." Lily wiped at her tears, nodding silently. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing for sure. Her mom had tried to protect them, even if it had all gone wrong. In the days that followed, the street slowly returned to its normal, quiet routine. The police left, the neighbors went back to their lives, and the garbage man continued his route. But for Lily, things had changed. She learned that her mom's involvement with dangerous people had deeper roots than she had realized. And while the police assured her that her mom would get the help she needed, it didn't make the ache in her chest any less painful. Lily spent more time with her little brother, determined to keep their life as normal as possible. She visited her mom when she could, and each time, her mom seemed a little lighter, the burden of her secret no longer weighing her down. In the end, the package that had turned their lives upside down was just a small piece of a much larger puzzle. It had led to arrests, investigations, and uncovering an entire network of illegal activities. But for Lily, it wasn't about the package anymore. It was about family, about how even the smallest actions, like taking out the trash, could change everything in an instant. As the days turned into weeks, Lily reflected on all that had happened. She knew their lives wouldn't go back to the way they were before, but maybe that was okay. Her mom had made mistakes, but she had also fought to make things right, and that was something Lily would never forget. In the end, as Lily sat on her porch one quiet afternoon, watching the garbage truck make its usual rounds, she realized something important. No matter how dark things seemed, there was always a way to move forward. And for her family, that's exactly what they would do.